Welcome to episode 23, Dashing to the Statistics. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We have an amazing episode planned for you. Tonight, we are going to be talking about statistics, right? And we're going to get into it in a different format, right? So my job that I do for a real living, other than when I play X-Wing, which it would be nice to get paid to play X-Wing full time, but that just doesn't exist. But tonight we're going to be talking about some of the statistics, some of the different lists for the metas, kind of analyzing what company is keeping all this information. And then we're going to be able to dissect our thoughts on it. We're also going to cover our Krayt Cup week 2 analysis, as well as our week 3 opponents. And without any further ado, we are going to also cover a little bit of the Scarif list. So I'm not going to go too hardcore into them tonight because I know everybody else likes to cover those. I think it's interesting, some of the results we're seeing from it. But what's more interesting is I actually compiled all the GSP win ratios of the different factions. And then what I did is I also broke the different factions down based on I call them semesters, right? So based on semester 1, which is the first points that we had updated at the beginning of the year, versus the second points versus hyperspace versus extended. So essentially the goal is to kind of just look at these numbers, see if they mean anything, and I could give you a little spoiler. Charles and his scum faction are very excited about this. But without further ado, let's bring in our co-hosts. Welcome to the show, Matt. Welcome to the show, Charles. How are you all doing tonight?
I'm a little under the weather, a little worn down, so I will be less animated than normal for the folks that are in our stream watching on Twitch, and then for those of you that watch this back, I might be a little more subdued than usual. It's probably a good thing. Other than that, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. How about you, Matt?
No, actually, doing better. Actually, I was feeling down, under the weather this week, but feeling better now. Thank goodness. Unfortunately, caught me at work though, so my apologies to the viewers. But hello, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
All right. Well, so like I said, tonight we're going to be talking quite a bit about different lists, different things like that. But before we get into that, let's go through Krayt Cup, right? I think Krayt Cup was very interesting this week. We jammed all 3 of our games for our team in on Friday, Saturday-ish, basically within a 12 to 14-hour period. So in my world, because we played some Australians, we were doing Charles's game at 7 p.m. Eastern, which was Saturday morning their time. And then John and I did games Sunday morning Eastern time Saturday morning Eastern time at 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. And then that was their, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and midnight time frame. So we don't know if that has to do with anything or not, but we do know that essentially we won. We actually got our week 1 win. So me and John both won. Charles was the one loss for the week, and Charles's loss was actually only by 3 points. Literally 3 points. It was just 3 points.
So close.
Which essentially is just half points on a ship. So, Charles, you want to give a quick rundown of, your thoughts for the week?
Yeah. The reason I lost was because I hit my own counter nets. That's the long and short of that one. I killed 2 of my own ships. And in the final round, I could have done a different maneuver and got 2 key blocks, and still had the shot that I needed, which would have left 2 ships on the board and would have given me a pretty commanding win over what was Dengar and 2 Fangs. Other than that, it was a really good game. Your game was super close. It swung back and forth a couple of different times in there. Again, I don't understand why the player you were playing decided to go ham. Like, he gave up his side on Dengar to where he was only able to turn right. And both Fen and Joy, all 3 of them went range 1 into your HMP, giving up their side and a lot of maneuverability to try and take out that HMP, and then the rest of your drones just kind of Swiss cheesed them turn by turn until there was nothing left.
Yeah, so when we did set up for my game, so I ran an HMP with 7 Trade Federation drones. And what we did is when I set up, I had the rocks, so on the left side of the board, there was 3 evenly spaced out rocks, 1 in the center, and then 2 kind of in his corner, because he got to play some of the rocks. So he was putting them on his side, thinking he would come faster than me. So what I did is I said, screw it. I'm gonna put everything on the right hand side, which is basically this open space, and just see where he posts up. Because what I was hoping is he would post up like Charles would normally do, because I'm used to playing Charles. And normally, at minimum, I know Dengar is going to be on the other side, because Dengar always wants to go left, even if it's through a rock. On the opposite side, those other 2 fangs, if they set up to joust with me, I'm going to have probably a good range 3 engagement, and then I'll probably lose 2 or 3 of them from the fangs, but hopefully I could take them out. And then I could go deal with Dengar later on. What he did is set all 3 of his ships up on the side of the board and jousted me. Like, just hard. I mean, he came 5 straight in boosts, and my guys all went in like 2. I went kind of on an angle, and then I was like, all right, I'm just gonna slowly go in. And even with slow rolling in, he then came in another 5 and then boosted in, and he had my HMP at range 1 of 2 fangs and 1 what is 1 Dengar. And what that did was essentially he took my HMP off the board turn 1. No questions asked. Like, it was gone. He got rid of Kraken, he got rid of my probe droids, and just said, here you go, you don't get anything. I didn't even get to shoot with my HMP. But because he did that, I was able to throw all my droids into blocks. His Fen moved 1 bump and never moved again. He died. His Fen died. Same with his Joy, lived a lot longer. But then I was able to do half damage on Dengar, and then within 1 more turn, I was able to take Dengar off the board. Maybe 2 more turns. 1 to 2 more turns, I was able to take Dengar off the board. And then it got a little dicey, because once Joy finally got through everything, then I ended up having a little bit of an issue, because Joy is more maneuverable than even 5 droids. But even with that is, once you catch Joy, at some point she's going to pop. And all I needed to do was get half points on her, and then I could just try to take off and disappear into the sunset if I wanted. John's game was a little bit more lopsided in John's favor. That first order, there was a little bit of an engagement at first. John lost a ship at first, and then pretty much once John traded the majority of an X-Wing for Commander Malice in the SF, or the FO, and then after that, he traded half points on another ship and ended up losing one of his X-Wings. And then after that, there was no game after that. Essentially, John pretty much was 60-40. Then it went to 70-30. And then after that, it was pretty much 100% John's favor. John would have had to flown off the side of the board to lose that game. So this week, we are playing the Team Luis, and I don't know, Charles, I don't know how, you guys can't see my screen. Okay, let me.
I know, I got you. It's team, so they're taking a play on a designer name. It looks like it's pronounced, so it's, the designer is Louis Vuitton, right? My wife loves Louis Vuitton. It's very expensive for no reason, because it's just handbags and clothes, but he puts his name on it, it makes it expensive. They named their team Louis Vuitton. So decided to throw some Star Wars in there. So yeah, so they're Team Louis Vuitton. And for those keeping up, we are still Team Padme's private Snapchat.
Cute. Not team planning phase. Just curious. I mean,
well, they wanted us to do like funny kind of catch as can names, and so John came up with Padme's private Snapchat because it is still PPS, which is Planning Phase Syndicate. So we kept the same initial layout, just using a different set of words. So,
yep. So this week we're playing Izzy G, Carson Hopper, and Evan Paul.
My understanding, just so you know, Chris, as well, they are West Coast. I have been able to touch base with Izzy G. So they are Pacific Standard Time. So not going to be too much variance in the game time for what we're looking at.
All right. Thank God, because getting up at 7 a.m. on Saturday was not fun.
The games were fun. Don't get me wrong. The guys were great. The games were fun. but yeah, the time was just not beneficial to anybody.
Psych J, we do not have dates set yet. I'm hoping within the next day. I posted in their chat, but I haven't been on Discord since this afternoon. So we ended up at my nephew's hockey game, and then I made gyros with homemade gyro meat. So that took up most of my night.
You had lamb?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm just kind of jealous. All I had
Does
was
sound
a
good.
cold McChicken.
Yep. I everything was homemade except for the gyro bread. So
Oh, the pita bread?
yeah, I bought that from a store.
Wait a minute, hold on. I gotta ask. You made your tzatziki sauce homemade as well?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's a lot
Very
of
nice.
time. So I much
Yeah, it is.
respect there.
Well done, sir.
And I'll send you a picture later. I sent one to Bob, so that way Bob could. Because it's a little quick story. Last time Charles was up, Charles, and Bob's wife went to a Mediterranean restaurant and got a whole bunch of food. And I found out our friend Bob loves cooking, so I sent a bunch of jealousy pictures to him, and I said, hey, maybe if you're on this side of town, we can do lunch. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get back to X-Wing. You don't need to hear about my cooking. So as you can see, so John kept his list. What's that?
Said it sounds delightful, though. I'm just saying.
It was. Your wife would be jealous. It was made with all fresh ingredients, too. So all the spices were fresh. Anyway, all right. So John kept his list the same. So this week we were allowed to change our list. We did not. John kept his list the same. Obviously minus the upgrades. Probability is he's going to use his ion turret, or ion cannon turret. That worked very well, especially with Nora. Because if they come after Nora, Nora starts churning those. It's like a free reinforce with her. And the ion turret was just amazing. The other thing we used was Watchful Astromech, which, all right, that I was very poo-pooing of Watchful Astromech. But if you're just
I remember that episode. You were very not feeling the usefulness of said Watchful Astromech droid.
But if you just want to go 1 or 2 forward, right, just do your blue maneuvers and always just like you when you need to rotate, you get the free calculate. It worked out very well, and in fairness, John used it quite a bit. So, it's not as useful as your damn R2D2 has been, but needless to say, it was very useful.
Yo, can we take a moment and just talk about dude running or on our stream Thursday? This is not anything to do with the podcast. This was unplanned, but it's something that I want to discuss because it's a combo that I've never seen anyone play, and the person that I played on Thursday used it to a T. So for Thursday, our goal was to play a couple of games, and we were themed. So the theme was only ships and pilots that appeared in A New Hope. So I ran Luke, I ran Wedge, and I ran Big Starklighter. So the Red Squadron that actually, the Red Wing that actually flew the death of the Death Star. And my opponent ran something very similar. So he ran Wedge. He ran Biggs, he ran Neon Numb, I think, and Jack Porkins.
No, he ran Jack.
Yep, Jack Porkins, he ran Biggs.
Did he have Neon?
I think he ran Neon Numb.
Neon Numb. Yep, it was Neon Numb.
He had Jack Porkins. So for those of you who don't know, Jack Porkins' ability is whenever he receives a stress token, you can choose to remove the stress token and roll a red dice. On a hit result only, you take a damage. Anything else, so crit, blank, or focus, which is 75% of the dice, you take nothing. He ran that with Elusive and the Rebel version of Chopper, which the Rebel version of Chopper is you can spend a non-reoccurring charge to regain a shield. Elusive's charge is not technically reoccurring because it doesn't automatically happen at the end of every round. So it only replenishes when you do red maneuvers. So he would do a 4K, replenish Elusive, spend Elusive to replenish his shield, and then then he would remove the stress from the red maneuver and roll his red dice. And 4 or 5 times in a row, he was able to pull off 4Ks and Talon rolls with no punishment, because it's a 75% chance you're not going to take anything.
Yep.
And so he just kept, like, I did 3 damage to him. He regened both shields back before I could do any more damage to him. It was a crazy combo if you're Dire in your corner. It's pretty awesome.
Yep. And if you want to watch the video, I'll have it up tomorrow as I'm going through editing videos. Tomorrow's the only editing day I get, and hopefully I'll be able to get them all done. I got like 5 games I have to edit tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you for doing so, sir.
All right. So John's going to be playing against Carson Hooper. He has a standard. It's going to be 3 X-Wings and ZZ list if Nabi were here. And I feel like we should just tag Nabi when we go live, because there's always a resistance reference.
Always an A-Wing reference. Way to go, Nabi.
I don't know. I mean, this guy's only got 12 points for upgrades. So I'm going to wager that they're going to kit Poe out to some extent. But I don't know. I mean, if it's not going to be Poverdrive Poe, then this list is about as scary as John's list, and I would wager John out minus ZZ. John should be able to easily take this list off the board. I would give this a 70-30 to John. Again, depending on how they kit Poe out. If they kit Poe out appropriately, then I would probably reduce that to 60-40. Charles is playing an Empire list, and you're playing
bane of my existence.
Soontir Fel, his favorite pilot.
I hate Soontir Fel more than you hate Torkel Mux.
That's a lot of hate. That's a whole lot of hate.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you don't rail on like Chris does about the I'm Chris like an actual, like, I think viscerate for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how to gauge this list, Charles. I think this is probably more in Izzy's favor than in yours.
Oh yeah, I agree. If I can get some good hits in and at least get him off kilter a little bit, then maybe, or if I can stun lock one of them and get that off the board and make it against 2, that's fine. But he has a lot of reposition.
Yep, and it all depends. So the idea here, so Charles, if he runs sensitive controls on Soontir, just be aware in the long run of things, you're going to be in a better position. Now, I don't think he's going to run that because you don't have any I6s or even I5s, so he doesn't really have to outsmart you. But as long as you can get your these ions off, because if he flies in and somewhat jousts you, you're going to lose 1 to 2 of those V-Wings, like, pretty quickly. Minimum 1 the first turn. But the problem he's going to have is you have counter nets. So if he's not careful and he's behind you, you're just going to drop counter nets, and then you ionize them. And then if you can ionize them, the first thing that you could do is just do turnarounds and just attack. It's just like, yep, here you go. I'm gonna eat you alive. So
locking one of them down with an ion is going to be key, and it's going to be hard because I think, well, I know Soontir has 3. Duchess is Duchess the
striker?
That's the big fat one, right? Or is she the small striker? Small striker. Okay. And then Vader's in the X1, so I think he either has 2 or 3. So they're pretty high agility ships.
3, and the striker's 2, right, Chris?
No, I think the striker is 2. Yes, the striker is 2. You were talking agility. Yes, striker is 2 agility. Yep.
Correct. Yep. So I've got 3, 2, 3. Is Vader get 2 or does Vader get 3 in the X1?
3.
Yeah. So it's 3 on Soontir, 2 on Duchess, and 3 on Vader. So the only thing I can do is pray that I get enough time on target to allow for my little 2 dice attacks with target locks to pierce through something.
Yeah, and we might want to go through your list and sit down and look at it, because maybe John has some suggestions too on changing a few things up. So We will see, though. I don't think this is a horrible matchup. This is definitely not an auto win for Izzy in any way, shape, or form, but it is definitely he definitely has the favor. All right, so now mine. I guess I got to make mine a little bit smaller. All those damn droids, right? So I'm playing Evan. Evan is going to be running Rick Olay, Obi-Wan, and Plo, and he comes in at 134.
That's lots of room for
Oh my
upgrades.
God.
But when you think about it, some of those Force upgrades are pretty pricey. So you're going to want, because I'll be honest with you, if he runs anything on Rick other than Daredevil and hull upgrade or like a shield upgrade, one of those two, I will be incredibly surprised.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is a regen list, if that's what he's going to run. That's why he has all those points in there.
That's very possible.
Or he has it because
7Bs too.
What's that?
7B, which is very, very pricey.
Yeah, Delta 7B on the Aether sprites probably.
Well, okay, but how much
Probably both of them.
how much is it, Matt? I mean, is it really like 25 points or something? 'Cause I didn't think even that was that expensive. No. And I don't know why he's running Plo Koon. How about that?
Plo Koon allows him to. Trying to remember off the top of my head exactly what it is that Plo does.
Can remove a disarm or.
So you can
basically
remove an
just
orange token, right?
I believe.
Yeah, it says at the start of engagement, spend 1 force and choose another friendly ship at range 0 to 2. If you do, you can transfer 1 green token to it or transfer 1 orange token from it to yourself.
Okay, so then he
Right, so
allows that means that you're probably going to see regen on Obi-Wan and Plo, and you can use Plo to steal the weapons disabled token to allow yourself to regen and still get the force modded shot.
Yeah. So if I put the Delta 7Bs on, he still has 26 points in upgrades.
Yeah, he's going to do regen on probably all of them, to be honest with you.
Okay. And that's what I was assuming.
Yeah.
Because that allows him to be able to do that, right? So
And they're all I5 too, right? Obi, Plo, and Rick are all 5s. So they're all I5. And I think there's room for the repair astromech too. You said there's 27 points remaining. Is that what you said?
26, yep.
That should be enough room, I think, maybe, for an astromech on each one of them.
Yeah, because I mean, those repair astromechs are not extremely expensive, are they?
I want to say they're 9 points.
8 points. R2s are 8 points.
8 points.
Okay, I was gonna say they're expensive.
You still have a few points remaining. They're not cheap, but they're not that expensive. Not when he has that many points to play around with. I mean,
they're not prohibitive. They're definitely not cheap, but they are not prohibitive.
Yeah, I would be surprised if you'd see anything less than Delta 7s and the R2s.
Yep, because that leaves him 5, 6, 7 points. Nope, 8 points. It leaves him 5 points if he runs R2 on each of them. That leaves 5 points. Delta 7Bs, R2s on all of them. That leaves 5 points of whatever. So
probably gonna see some Jedi upgrades on Obi.
Yep.
I would venture to guess probably sense or instinctive aim on Obi with some sort of torp.
Yep. So I changed my list up. I got rid of the HMP because I was sick of him getting picked off. And I added Watt Tambor in the belly rub for 42 points.
Interesting.
I would say Chris's list has been so long at this point that when we load it into the overlay for stream, you can't see all the ships.
Yeah, I have to reduce the size, and if I forget, then they don't show up. But so mine's pretty easy. I mean, I'm not. The only difference is I'm probably not going to take Kraken on these ones, and I might take Independent Calculates. I don't know. You know.
Can you put Kraken on the Bellabub?
Yep. Yes.
And I don't know about running Independent Calculates with the droid swarm, bro. Don't do that.
So, all right. So let's go through this a minute. Hold on. Let me bring up Let me bring one up. I'll show you.
This is an ongoing discussion that John and Chris have been having
We've
in
had
our team chat since the start of this tournament. So,
What side? Well, I'm on Team
speaking
John.
of
What's Team John?
speaking of calculations and statistics, here we go, guys.
Yeah. So nobody's ran independent calculates except for there's a couple of guys in the X-Wing debrief, and they are on the same team Chris that I'm on. And I'm not sold on them, right? I'm not 100% sold on them. So I get 11 points, right? You can fit this droid called R2 or RKB or K2B4, right? It allows you to spend a calculate token, and they will either take a strain or it adds one evade, right? So if I have 2 calculates on every ship, every single ship with 2 calculates, I then can spend 1 on offense, and I have 1 or 2 on offense if I want, and then I always have 1 for defense. Now, I can't share them amongst anybody, but I always have that. Absolutely, at all times, am I able to just add evades. So if I roll 1 out of one green dice and 2 blanks, it just adds an evade, or they take a strain. Now, the question I have, Charles, does the strain ever stack? Because I don't think strain stacks.
Strain does not stack. Strain works the exact same that tractor beam does.
Okay.
And essentially ion. It doesn't matter if you have 7 million ion tokens on you. Once you become ioned or once you become tractored, the effect takes effect, and you are that setup until you are effectually not that. So they stack in the fact that you can't shake 6 strain by doing 1 blue maneuver.
Yes.
But they don't stack in the fact that 6 strain does not mean you get -6 defense die. That was how Tractor worked in 1.0, definitely not in 2.0.
Yep. So if you so it might not be as effective, but now on the opposite side, there is also TV-94, right? And while a ship at 0 to range 3 performs a primary attack against the defender in its bullseye, if the attack is 2 or fewer attack dice, it can spend a calculate to add a hit. So you can there's both of these. I'm not saying I'm going to run independent calculates because I don't know if it's the best thing in the world, right? But those are the 2 kind of options if you want to make them tankier, right? I still could run Kraken. I probably won't. I probably will run, Solus 1 obviously for Watt. And that gives me what? So that's 6 points. So that gives me, what did I say, at 11? So that gives me 5 points. So I run the tactical relay or I run impervium plating. One of the 2,
Impervium's always nice on those.
Yeah.
So I think the other question I have is, are you planning on the probe droid again or no?
I can't. I don't have probe droids. Probe droid was ineffective. Every time.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody ran over it the one game I watched.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, it's only meant for really 1 churn. That's all it's meant for. It's meant for churn to be able to have double mounted shots churn 1. And it worked. You saw how well it worked against Dengar. I mean, I target locked Dengar and said, screw it. I don't care. As long as I can not die from Fennin and the other one, I have all my target locks on Dengar. When I eventually get to shoot them, I get to use them. So it worked out. The problem is because he did 5s in, when he moves in that fast in on me and comes in that close to me, I either have to run away to begin with, or I get screwed because I can't take the target lock and then that same turn take a calculate action. So then I'm leaving some of my ships without mods, which is exactly what happened.
Right.
Now he went all in on my HMP, so it didn't really matter that turn that none of them really had mods. So like it was inconsequential at that point. And then all of the ships had target locks. Almost all of them had target locks for the next turn. So it still worked out in my favor, but I am not able to take probe droids with this list at all. It's just not
because they were on the HMP before.
Don't have you don't have the payload, right?
Yep, I have no payload, so which is fine. Again, the idea was if I kept the HMP, and I probably could have just kept the HMP and been fine. I just was getting sick of him getting destroyed the first thing. Either he was ineffective or he was destroyed. And in other games I've played in the last couple of weeks with him is the same thing. Either everybody goes all in on him, or he's just an ineffective two-die gun with those droids. So droids need to go down in cost. That's all I'm saying.
The more maneuverable might not be a bad idea.
Yes. And those belly rubs are like insanely, like, I mean, what Watt does, and that's what John and I were talking about. What Watt does is when you perform a primary attack, you may re-roll one attack die for every calculating ship at range 1 of the defender. So my Watt can circle around the outside and force you to either come at him, or he can start taking, he can just, it's not as good as Grievous. I couldn't fit Grievous in there as well. I mean, I guess I could have. Grievous is only 2 more points, but if Solus one was
flexibility though.
Yeah. Watt is better if I'm going to run Watt with a swarm than Grievous is. Grievous is meant to run away.
How is it initiative wise too? Are they all the same initiative?
Yep, they're all the same initiative. I can move them all how I want now. So
that's nice.
Yep. And Watt, and that's the idea, is either you're going to go in on Watt or you're not going to go in on Watt. If you don't go in on Watt, I'm going to use them as a battering ram to take you down. And I don't have to outmaneuver you. That's the best part about it, is Grievous, you have to outmaneuver everything. Watt, I don't have to. No outmaneuver on Watt. Don't have to worry about it. It's not that big a deal. So.
Gotcha.
All right, why don't we move on to Scarif Galaxies? So I want to review some of the lists real quick, and we are going to do this because this is important. And what we'll do is kind of each take a turn, going through some of the different lists, talking about them. I will tell you, part of this episode was named because, Charles, I might have a new hatred that's more than Torkel Mux.
Ooh, I'm very interested
what?
now.
Yeah.
I know who it is then.
who do you think it is, Matt?
It's got to be Dash Rendar, bro.
Yep. I hate Dash.
Oh my god. Dash has been broken since 1.0.
Yeah.
You know what Dash is?
There's a reason he's not been re-released.
You know what Dash is to me? Dash is like the scum rebel pilot that somehow fell out of the scum faction because somebody thought, hey, why don't we give rebel something scummy? And then we didn't even think about all the other interactions that all these other effing pilots do with Dash. And I know Dash hasn't made cut, like aggressively made cut as bad. Spoiler alert. Dash was in the finals, obviously, this time. Right. And I think there was multiple instances of Dash. Here, well, fuck it. We'll just look at it. There.
Sure. I say Dash is popular. I mean, tough, very tough ship to fight against. I mean, even without the and gunner, which I works the points again on it. Or maybe a ban situation. What are you thinking, Charles?
15 instances of Dash. 15 instances of Dash. 15.
Probably fair and balanced.
Probably fair and balanced. Let's see.
But let's be real. How many of those 15 made top cut?
So Rebel, 28% of Rebel made top cut.
Ooh.
28% of the whole field of Rebel made top cut, Charles.
Right, but when we look at the lists that made top cut, like when we look at those, which I'm not right now, so I'm not going to claim, all unending knowledge, but when we look at all the lists that came before, right, what number of those lists
of Dash
hit Dash in the top cut?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start. We could count, Charles. Let's count.
I know first place had Dash, so we can forget going over that one. There's no reason to go over first place because we already know.
We will. We'll start at the bottom. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Isn't that a song? I think that's a song. I'm gonna start at the bottom and work our way up.
Sure.
So, honorable mention: Ganaret Chan dropped out. Did not play top cut. Technically, he was 11th place. With a Kylo, Hollow, and 2 Sinus Jameis Engineer TIE pilots. They had counter nets.
Yeah, good choice.
Proxy, Electro Chafe Missile. Hollow is a little different, but I understand. Hollow is that support ship That's my guess is what a lot of people were using it as. And you got Kylo with Pattern Analyzer, Elusive, which should make Charles extremely happy, and Enhanced Jamming Suite. Because now you got Kylo doing stupid, scummy things. And he can jam you. Like, this is the epitome of when we mix two factions.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
You're not wrong at all,
Multi-faction,
sir.
baby.
So we'll start at the bottom of the 32. We have Paul Nixie with an Obi, V-Wing, and 2 104 battalions. Pretty good. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't understand how the V-Wing and the 104 battalion support Obi-Wan, but I'm assuming he just flies around the outside and with his Delta B and just regen shields and never dies. That's my assumption. You're the Rebel player or the Republic
Obi
player.
and beef.
Obi beef. Obi beef. Oh my God. Why do we have beef in Republic? All right. Charles, I'll let you read the next one. You want to read the next one?
Sure thing.
Anthony Lewis.
All right, let's see here. So Anthony, all right. So Anthony Lewis, is this the top table?
This is 30. We're in 32 now.
Oh, okay. We're going bottom to top. All right. So Dash with Luke and Cornhorn, as Chris likes to call him. No real upgrades here. So you've got a naked Dash. You've got Luke.
Really?
And Cornhorn had an R4 astromech, and Luke had servo motors. So that is it for the upgrades.
Pretty much naked then.
List. Yep.
Wow.
And
that's one.
Naked Dash still made top cut.
Yeah.
All right.
Not bad.
Matt, you can read the next one. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce the name
because I
because
have to do it.
all right.
I got it. It's Baches Mistal. Or no, that's not. It's Batzej. Btazej. I'm guessing Polish, but I'm not 100%. He ran the. Oh dear God! Seriously?
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
So Rack with Novice Technician, Darth Vader, Minister Tua. Not super familiar with that one. Agile Gunner, Seismic Charges, and Hull Upgrade, and then Captain Oiken with Novice Technician, Seventh Sister, Agile Gunner, Seismic Charges, Hull Upgrade, and Dauntless. So dual.
That one should have been a Chris Reed right there. Dueling Decimator.
Dual Decimator.
Look, I'm very excited about this list. Like I
was just say that seems pretty awesome.
I'm tempted to put this. Psych J. This is not the Empire's Dash. I can't shoot an extra dice for the fucking rock with one of these. It's not how that works. This is a really cool list though. I'll be honest. I did not expect to see this in Top Cut. Charles' 2 Decimators ever been a thing? Ever?
Double Decimator? I remember.
Did they? Just curious. Did they get a points reduction in the most recent?
Oh, you're gonna ask me questions I don't have good answers to.
Maybe I don't know. Probably you haven't been seeing them. So
I don't think
so. With the exception of Rack. Maybe just a point or two though, if anything, Charles. It wasn't a lot.
I was gonna say it seems like a lot of upgrades. You're putting a lot of eggs in a basket because having a ship is the same as getting an entire ship in. You know what I mean? In a standard 4-ship list. So you can still win and get half of each Deci and just run away.
I don't know. You tell me. You tell me.
What? So let's look at Novice Technician because he's got it on both ships, and let's look at Minister Tua.
All right, so let's do Minister Tua first because that's the first one I pulled up. At the start of engagement phase, if you are damaged, you can perform a red reinforce action.
Gotcha. Okay, so at the start of engagement, so after you've moved, after you've taken your action, after everybody is complete, if you have at least 1 damage card, because that is what is considered damaged, correct? Is no shields?
Yep.
Yes. No shields and 1 card.
And a damage card.
Yep.
You get a free red a free red action. Now, what is Rack's ability? Because Psych J said this is a combo for Rack's ability.
All right, so you want Rack's ability? Hold on, let me bring up Rack.
Bring it up along with Minister Tua.
Okay, so don't get rid of it. All right, that's fine. Do that. While you perform an attack, if you are reinforced and the defender is in your front or back, whichever, basically you're matching reinforced token, you may change one of your eyeball results to a crit.
So it's essentially a free crit.
It's a free
because
crit
you're
for
doing it at the
stress.
start of engagement. So
Yep.
you take a stress, and you already know where everybody is, so there's no guessing anymore because moves are done at the start of engagement. So you take a stress, reinforce wherever most of the ships that are going to be shooting you are, and then you basically get a free crit.
All right, that's insanely broken. That's awesome. I can't believe nobody's ever heard of that.
What is novice technician?
At the
If
end,
that's a way to get rid of a stress, then this is even worse than I thought.
all right, well, hold on. It says at the end of the round, you may roll one attack die to repair a face-up damage card. Then, on a hit result, expose a damage card. So, it's to me, it's a weird choice, but I could see if you're close to dying or if you're at close to half points, right? And you don't want that crit up. Like, so say it's a fuel leak, right? And let's say you have two other cards down, it's a fuel leak, and you're like, screw this, I don't want this fuel leak because it's going to kill me, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to repair that one and pick a different card. And if you've done this more than one damn time, then you know what your other cards are. You literally can place them in
breach too.
Or hull breach. Yeah, there you go. That's a horrible crit to have on a decimator.
Yep.
Yeah. And hey, Psych J, the difference is these guys get 0 green dice. Dash. How many dice does Dash get? How many dice
One
does Dash
or
get?
two.
Two.
I think it's 2.
It's 2.
I'm just saying, completely different.
2400.
Oh, there it is. He gets 2 green dice. No way is this a decimator.
Yeah, no. But he has a lot less health than the decimator.
I don't give him. Anyway, I hate Dash so much. It is my new Torkoal Mux. So anyway, I like this. I think this is a really cool list. I don't own 2 decimators, so I think I have to buy another decimator to run this now. Don't know.
I have one.
I will say the only time I've ever seen 2 decimators run was in a it was a tournament that we called the Clone Wars tournament. So no pilot, there was no such thing as a unique. So like I ran double Dengar in the Jumpmaster with Dengar crew on it. And somebody ran double Decimator with double Palpatine.
That's horrible. That's awful.
Well, but the thing is he thought, then this is where it went wrong. He had them fully kitted out with bombs. And he thought that the Emperor in 1.0 worked the way that Dooku does now in 2.0, where I can manipulate your dice and re-roll them with Emperor. And in 1.0, the Emperor specified that you may only re-roll the dice you roll. You can't force an opponent to re-roll dice. And since your opponent is the person rolling dice for a bomb, it didn't have the effect that he was hoping it was going to have.
All right, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think that's hilarious. I don't know. We'll see. Next squad is Alex with the Republic squad, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4 Y-Wings and a 104 battalion arc with Wolfpack. I don't think this is anything fancy. 3 of them have counter nets and iron turrets. Goji has iron turrets and thermals and delayed fuses. This is very similar to a Catherine rendition. So kudos to Catherine for running the Rebel version of this. I don't, whatever. This is a good list. It's a solid beef list, I think. And I'm into running ion turrets a little bit more than I used to be.
Ion turrets are great for 1 damage.
And they're good for
they give you an, I was gonna say they give you an extra die to shoot with. And in doing so, you get that opportunity to push a damage through no matter what, because they're more worried about dodging the ion tokens than they are the damage.
All right, the next list is from Sammy, and it is Vader and the Defender with HLC and Rex Brathler with Juke and Jamming Beam. Very simple 2 defender list, made cut. Did not make it out of the top 32 because, again, defenders are only so good. I know Sammy is a very, very good player. I've played against him quite a bit, and he has he's a good player. I played against him, and he's been on our stream quite a bit. So next one is just Scum and Villainy. It is Matt's favorite, Constable Zuvio, and the space hand tug with Composure, which is different.
Constable Zubio.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's interesting.
You do not. You hate.
It's weird on the failed boost.
Yep. It's just in case you block him up, I think. He's got Proxy Mines, Hondo against Justero with Deadman Switch, Tarani with Marksmanship, Cluster Missiles, Munitions Failsafe, R5, Captain Nim in the Scourge, H6 Bomber. I don't know. It's very similar standard loadout. It is kind of nice to see Captain Nim in Top Cut. I like that. I like seeing Zuvio in Top Cut. Justero can go fuck himself, and so can Tarani Cold. Both of them are not my favorite.
Okay.
I don't like scummy. Yeah, it's a very scummy list. Next one, for Delta 7B Jedi. Who would have thought they're good still?
They're still good.
They're still good?
Are they?
They're all 7Bs.
7B configuration.
Yep. They come in at 50 points each. They're all 7Bs. I don't know. Works out very well. The next list that we have, I am very interested in thinking about, because this is kind of a weird list. This list is Soontir Fel with Predator, so no surprise there. Then Latrid D in the TIE Heavy with Synced Laser Cannon, hull upgrade, and targeting assist MGK 300. Then he has 1 Alpha Squadron Interceptor and 3 TIE Academy pilots. This is like a weird rebel version in Empire.
Empire beef? Question mark?
Yeah,
New meta?
I'll be honest, it's different. I'm a little surprised about this.
Yeah, but I guess plus beef with Soontir?
Yeah.
That's weird. It's intriguing. Obviously, he did well with it.
So Latrid D is essentially got that, like, it's like the sinker style, right?
Yeah,
and it's got
sinker rerolls, but it's like really weird how it has to be done. I always get confused on that one. But it's like you get a reroll, but the person has to be in Latrin's side arc, or Latrin has to be in the Defender's side arc or something like that.
No,
it's weird, like
it's while a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs an attack, if they are in your side arcs, the attacker may reroll 1 attack die. So it's kind of like it's the same. It's essentially almost the same thing as what we've seen before. I don't know. I like this. This is weird. I'm assuming Soontir's bait and everybody goes in elsewhere. So here's
it's probably bait and brick.
Yeah, bait and brick. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah. This gentleman is Thor Bjorn Nelson. He's running a 10 nub, and he's running 10 nub Dutch Vander with Hopeful, which is new. I don't usually see Hopeful on Dutch. Ion turret cannon, plasma torpedoes, and an R3, allowing him to get the double locks. That's kind of fun. Yeah. He's going to get double locks, and then somebody else gets a free lock every time. It's like 3 target locks in one. And then Jet Porkins with plasmas, R4, and Jake with rockets and marksmanship. Pretty average beef list.
Seems good.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Nothing special there. Resistance is the next one with Poe in the T-70, Jessica Pava in the T-70, a Red Squadron in the T-70, and Kudo Fireballs. There you go.
Good job to you,
Kazudo.
Kudos.
Kazudo's Fireball.
Kaz's Fireball. Yep.
So
fair enough.
I think this is pretty standard. The only standout that I saw was she. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a she. I don't know that name very well, but they're running M9. It's a different astromech. M9G8 And essentially what it says is, while a ship you are locking performs an attack, you may choose one attack die. If you do, the attacker rerolls the die. I don't know how many points this is, but that's a pretty good astromech. It's good that it's unique. So you can't run a bunch of them, but it's a resistance only. Maybe this is one of the new ones. Maybe I don't know. Maybe someone could look that up to see if it's new or not. I don't know. Then
M9G8, you said?
I do not
yeah,
know.
M9G8. It's 5 points.
Sounds like a new.
That's for 5 points. That's pretty good. So, and the next one is Zach, and he is Be Stilling My Beating Heart. He's running a Separatist Predator HMP droid with Kraken and DK1 probe droids with 7 vultures.
So he ran your list.
Just to call back, no, the droid came out in the Resistance conversion kit and then was officially released for 2.0 in the T70 expansion, which I believe is the expansion that was released with the game.
Okay. I've just never seen that one ran. I don't know if 5 points on it is worth it, but I don't know. That seems pretty good to me. So
yeah.
And Zach, I'm very excited that you got this in there. Somebody must not have killed your HMP droid. I bet he lost the dash. We'll see. Charles, you want to read the next one?
Sure thing.
It's juiced.
It looks like Dash with Trick Shot, Perceptive Copilot, Jyn Erso, and Outrider. And then Ahsoka Tano in the RZ-1 A-Wing. And then, scroll up, Chris. Thank you. Harrison Dula in the ASF-01 B-Wing with Deadeye Shot, Jamming Beam, and Stabilized Death Foils. Oh, and Ahsoka had Patience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dash.
There's 3. Now we're up to 3.
Yeah. So
that's a full-on 20%.
I am happy to see Hera in the B-Wing. I like that. I think that's good. But you know, she's literally only there for Dash. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is sad because she's a better pilot than Dash. Just saying.
No argument at all on this end of things.
All right, let's move on. The next, go ahead.
Resistance A-Wings, we can just kind of hop skip past that.
I would agree. I was gonna say
ZZ, Tally, Lulo, and
Sefton is new. That's usually you don't see Sefton ran. Yep.
What is his ability? Because I don't recall him.
You've never seen Sefton? That's because nobody runs him.
I was gonna say not a hashtag. Yes! Yeah. Exclamation point! Summon Nobby.
Yeah. Where is Nobby? Where is Nobby when we need Nobby? Nobby's always here. Well, I don't know why my card size is so small. I apologize to the stream because the card size is really small for some reason. But essentially what he does is after you perform a boost action, you may transfer 1 evade token to a friendly ship at range 1. So it's like a different type of a Hera. So or a Jake, yeah. It's just cool. But it's you have to give your no, it's more like Hera because you have to give your own token. So
gotcha. So it's not giving an action.
Yeah. I think it's good. That's a support ship, right? You know, so once you get your goal is obviously to get your prockets off, and then once you get your prockets off, you're just become the support ship for the other 3 A-Wings. I don't know, pretty good. It's A-Wings, nothing special, in my opinion.
So basically, in order for this to work, you would have to move Sefton as your action, take the evade. Then, after you perform your action, perform a red boost in order to pass the evade using his ability. Am I understanding that correct? Or somehow get coordinated a focus before you move so you can just boost as a regular action?
Yep.
Or coordinated and evade. Sorry, not a boost.
Yep. Exactly. Yes. So it's niche-y, but I mean, so the question is whether they use it as an effectiveness or they just used it because they ran out of points, right? Because they're running, in fairness, they're running advanced optics and heroic and marksmanship. Usually those A-Wings don't have the marksmanship and advanced optics at the same time, and heroic. Right? They've got heroic on all of them and advanced optics on all of them. So advanced optics right there, that's 20 points in your list. So yeah, you don't see this. I would actually, I would like a Nabi's opinion on this. I don't know. I would prefer Nabi's opinion. I would like to know what's the. I like advanced optics, but at 5 points, I mean,
It's an awful
on
lot.
ZZ, great, makes sense, 100% get it. But on the rest of them, I'm not as sold on that personally. Just me. The next one is another resistance list, which we thought was going away, but obviously resistance is not. They have 4 T-70 Blue Squadron rookie X-Wings with BB Astromech. We know that's good. They all got jamming beams because I guess you can. And then
it's 0 points, so why wouldn't you?
V Maradi and the... all right. What I want to know, if we look at... So we're going to talk statistics. We talk statistics, right? And now I don't think we're going to actually get to our metawing statistics tonight. I think we're going to have to push that off to next week. But think about it this way, Charles. If you run jamming beam because it's a free upgrade on every one of these effing ships, right? If we ran a statistical analysis on how many goddamn times jamming beam showed up, it would show up as the most prominent upgrade in X-Wing. Literally.
Well, so here's the thing,
Good.
right?
Good.
And go with me on this because I don't
On
think it matters.
Hyperspace.
But again, before you had bid, you were bidding for things. It was still a free upgrade before. It's a free upgrade now. There's no reason to not run it. I mean, I've never seen anyone shuffle off their giving up a damage dealing shot in order to strip a token. Now, could it be done? Sure. Is there a list that could do it? Probably. Do I know it off the top of my head? No. So I just don't see it being something different.
I don't know. I think I think the reason they take V Morandi is because Rose went up in points. Otherwise, you just put Rose in here with C-3PO. That's what you would do.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Twitchy, just so you know, I just there you go. See, I just put it in my Discord. So next time, Twitchy, we'll have to. I don't know how to get a command that will work where we can get it to actually message him, but I put him in Discord and it summoned him. See, works in Discord.
Can we scroll back down, Nabi? We need your opinion on Resistance A-Wings.
Yeah. So Nabi, what the confusion was is why in God's Green Earth they're running Sefton other than just for maybe the initiative, right? Because in this list, Sefton seems silly. That's just me. I think it's silly. I don't understand it. We don't understand. Just drop one of the advanced optics on one of these and run a better ship. Anyway, you could tell us in the chat and then we'll talk about it in a minute. The next one is Fawn. Fawn's running 3 HMPs and Grievous. This is nothing new. Other than he has Kraken on here instead of the only real difference is there's Kraken instead of running in Pervium plating. So
Nabi said that Sefton is there because he's an I-5.
Okay,
that's
right.
His ability. He's
there we go.
I-5 A-wing.
We've solved it all. We've solved it all.
I agree.
Let's keep moving. The next list. You want to read the next list, Charles? I've only given you dash list, so why don't you read the next list?
It's the next list.
It's not dash. No.
Okay.
I'm being nice this time. This is the second time we've seen Consul Zubio. This is actually almost the exact same list as we just saw.
This looks very similar to a Godshot list. So it looks like Arn Canes running Zuvio with Proxy Mines and Deadman Switch. Tarani with Snapshot and R5TK, Jostero with Deadman Switch, and then switching up the Godshot list, running Captain Nim with Dorsal Turret, Skilled Bombardier, Proton Bomb, Seismic Charges, so all of the things, Havoc and Tragedy Simulator.
Yeah. I don't know. We talked about this a little bit. Charles, I hate Tarani Kolda and I hate Jostero personally, but
why?
they're just scummy. I don't like scummy things. That's just me. But other than that, I don't hate them that much. I don't hate them as much as I hate Dash. There you go. I hate Dash more than I hate them. I hate Dash. Actually, I hate Dash more than I hate Torkoal Mux right now.
So there's no Torkoal Mux in the list even.
No, nobody's using Torkoal Mux. Like, I've complained about Torkoal Mux so much that we've eliminated him from all tournaments.
Yeah.
So
you
I
know
will
what that
say,
means.
I am not a fan of Tyranny and Jostero, but I think the balancing mechanism there is, and why I don't think they're as bad as Torkoal. Torkoal with a turret gets a 180-degree arc that as long as you're in it, he can make you a 0. With Tyranny and Jostero, to be able to get that to trigger, you need to take a medium base and barrel roll it into or pilot something into its bullseye arc. And that's really why I don't really mind this as a list, because yes, it does trigger. I'm not saying it doesn't trigger, but it works best against swarm meta. Because if I can get 3 or 4 of your droids in that bullseye and trigger his ability and, you know, pump through a damage or 2 because you don't have any tokens, then yes, it works a million times. But on a 2 or 3 ship like ace list, no one's getting in the bullseye arc of that awful,
This list
awful
just dies to
Kimagila.
that. It's just dead.
No one's getting in the bullseye arc of a Kimagila when you've only got 3 ships. When you have 8, sure, it's easy to bump train somebody into your bullseye arc, but
Right.
All right. The next list is Alex running First Order Rush, a TIE bomber with fanatical plasmas, proxies, and concussions, and Kylo Ren in the silencer with extreme maneuver and sensor scramblers, because we should never have made sensor scramblers available to any ship other than the Whisper, but we did because FFG was super smart about that. I don't know. This is standard list. This is not really anything new. Moving on. Next one is the Resistance. This one I'm actually kind of excited about, honestly. Alexander Oler, and this was on stream at least once, if not twice. I know it was on stream at least once because I watched this one. Jessica Pava in the X-Wing, nothing special, right? But then they have Lega Fonseng in the Y-Wing with dorsal turret and engine upgrade. And then 3 New Republic Patrol Y-Wings with dorsal turret and engine upgrades. I'm excited this may cut, honestly. Like,
and
I
didn't
am.
do
like,
wartime either, eh?
Yeah, there's no wartime loadouts.
That's cool.
You're obviously the boost on a Y. Okay, boosts on a Y-Wing are good. They really are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not the only thing that's interesting on a Y. But now, can you imagine if we could drop some points, right, and get them some ion turrets? There you go.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yep, and they don't have any watchful astromechs. I don't know. I was excited to see 5 of the new, or 4 of the new Y-Wings in this list.
Cool.
I like that. I think that's cool.
Well, it's 5, isn't it? All 5 of them.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and just Pava and the T70.
Gotcha.
Charles, you want to read the next list?
let's see here. Next list,
Alfred.
beyond that resistant list. Oh, yeah, I hate you so much. Dash Rendar with Trick Shot, Outrider, False Transponder Codes, Jan Ors in the Hawk, and is that Hera in the B-Wing again?
Yep, Hera in the B-Wing. Again, excited to see Hera in the B-Wing. Not excited to see Dash Rendar with Trick Shot and Outrider.
I like Hera in the B-Wing. It's cool that that's the same cost as the A-Wing now, right?
Yep. Dash again. I know. I'm just torturing Charles. I'm just being a dick, Charles, right now. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be, but it is 10 o'clock and I've been drinking, so.
And I'm used to it, so.
Next one is Eno. Eno again he played on our stream quite a bit when we did the XTC. He ran Boba Fett and Dengar. I don't need to give you all of the stuff that goes on it because it's just the Boba Dengar list. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to see that this may cut, personally.
I think for me, my favorite part about this is Boba running rigged cargo chute. I don't think we see enough of rigged cargo chute in the meta right now. But running it with Marauder and veteran tail gunner, I like it.
Yeah, I like this too. I think this is cool. So I'm excited to see Boba's in. Boba comes in back into play, right? Without having to fucking have Maul. There's no Maul, folks.
Right. Nope, no Maul.
And what else is there not? There's not a Slave 1. So.
Right.
No, he gave that up for Marauder, and I think that's smart. with Marauder and Veteran Tail Gunner, you want that over Slave 1. Slave 1 is great because it makes him more maneuverable, but if you already are going to take a title that encourages you to shoot out of the rear, you might as well take the Tail Gunner that increases your ability to take those shots out of the rear and just utilize Boba to run away from things.
Yeah, well, and also double tapping with Boba is turns out it's good because you're going to be pushing Boba down people's throat anyway. So,
and he loves to be at range 1 of things.
He does.
All right. Next one is Damien running a Lat Hound with 7 fleet gunner, Click with elusive R3, Besh, and Sidesmix. Shock T with an R5 and Obi-Wan with an R5 and CLT. I don't know. This is kind of interesting, Charles. This is
interesting.
Something that I could see Charles doing this. You own enough ships to actually run this, don't you?
I do not own the Lat. The V-Wing, the Actus, and the Aether Sprite I've got, but the Lat I do not currently own. They have one at my local.
Gotcha.
I've been toying around with picking it up, but it is what it is.
I think you need a Lat, but
the thing is I saw it at the store. It's like $25. I'll probably pick it up on Wednesday, to be fair.
It's like Jay just said, he'll let you borrow it. So if you want to run a Lat and your V-Wings against him on Wednesday, my recommendation is you borrow his Lat and run your V-Wings against them.
Yeah, give it a shot. Seems like a good little setup.
He just said you will. All right. I don't know. I like this list. I think this is interesting, and I think we need to come back to this at some point. I don't want to focus on it tonight because we're already an hour into the show. I do like that aspect of it though, and I think it's interesting they put 7th Fleet Gunner on Hound. I do think I find that interesting. It's an interesting choice. So,
well, the 7th Fleet Gunner, you're not really shooting with that Lat, so who cares? So you can always add that 4th dice, which is very key. So not a bad addition to a Lat, honestly.
All right, you want to read the next list, Charles? It doesn't have Dash in it.
No.
It looks like Hera, Luke, Ahsoka. Is that right?
No,
sorry. No. Sorry. So Rebel Alliance. Oh, hey, Nobby. It's all about you, brother. Phoenix Squadron A-Wing with starboard slash and vector cannons. Green Squadron A-Wing with starboard slice and vectored cannons. Another Green Squadron with starboard slash, vectored cannons. And then Derek Clivian in the A-Wing with starboard slash, crack shot, and cannons. Arvel with starboard slash, intimidation and cannons. And my favorite, Sabine, with starboard slash, crack shot, and vectored cannons.
Vectored cannons is interesting.
I think vectored cannons is a standardized. So if you run it on one, it's got to be on all of them, right?
Yep.
You are correct.
You want to know what this list lost to?
Dash?
Yeah. You want to know what's really good about this list or what's really cool?
It's an A-Wing swarm?
6 A-Wing. It's got 6.
And all of them with starboard slash.
Yes. And I like that too. I like that. Like the goal, that's like one of this list feels like a meme list to me. It's like, all I want to do is just fly over you. That's all I care. I'm going to fly over you, rotate my cannon, and shoot you. That's all I care. Like, if I could run this, I would literally just like fly over people and shoot them. Yeah. Hey, Nabi, with starboard slash, they just want to fly over them. That's all they care. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah, right.
No
Prockets.
Consequential. All right.
All in on the string.
The next one is Hera in an A-Wing with Prockets, Luke with Protons and an R2 and Foresight, Ahsoka with Brilliant Evasion, Foresight, and Concussion Missiles. This is pretty interesting. I'll be honest, this is pretty interesting. Ahsoka with two Force slots is just amazing. Just amazing. I love that.
Gotta love Snips, man.
This is a very different list. So, Brilliant Evasion, I don't care what anybody says. If you have a Force upgrade and you have extra points and nothing to do with them, you put a Brilliant Innovation on. I've
Might as
used
well.
it so many times. You want to know who's good with Brilliant Innovation? Vader.
Luke.
Vader.
Yeah.
Vader loves Brilliant Innovation. You know who loves it more? Grand Inquisitor.
Oh yeah. Grand
Just
Inky.
saying.
That would be really good on Grand Inky. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually ran that last night. We'll get to that in a minute. We can go back to that because I had fun last night. I beat
Good.
Phil last night, by the way. Phil was very sad.
Nice.
I beat Vader Defender last night.
Hort,
Yeah, Hort.
Yep.
did you drink some scotch at Phil's house, or did he come out to your local?
I went to Phil's house. We had a local monthly there. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, yep. I did drink, and I still beat him. So there you go.
What's
Either
why?
it's the
Because
power
you
of drinking. Yeah, it's 'cause I drank. Come on,
It was good
I
scotch
drank
and a good
and
game.
lost. I lost to Matt when I was drinking. So and I lost to John when I was drinking. Oh, you know what? I wasn't drinking when I lost to John's bullshit Dash list. And John, when you listen to this back, fuck Dash. So you know. Dash literally is like you bitch about Poe Ray and Ray being Death Ray and how much you hate that. You know who I
Yes,
hate more?
he did.
Dash.
He did very much dislike Death Ray when I played him. I didn't realize that he had a hatred for Ray, or I would never have flown her. But
Oh no, you
Ooh,
should 100%.
he did definitely hate having to play Death
Yep.
Ray.
And as soon as the probability John will listen to this is pretty low, but if John does listen to this, the next local he gets to come to, I am bringing Death Ray with me, just
Death
so
Ray.
he knows. Yep, 100%.
He does not love playing against it. Make sure you set her up fat.
Okay,
The next,
so
go
for
ahead.
list building Thursday, someone build a Dash list. Chris, you build a Death Ray list, and we'll pair Death Ray against Dash and see who is officially the most broken large base
All right.
ship.
Is Dash an I5?
6.
Um,
Pretty sure Dash is 6.
believe Dash is I6.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the challenge
be
is
wrong.
all I5s and I6s, and the challenge is you only get 3 ships. Period. So I already know what I'm running. I have a list I built that I'm already running. So anyway, I might not run it. If people sign up for that, I don't have. Then I won't be playing. So
Dash is an I5.
Oh, yeah.
technically, it's legal. You run Dash, Charles.
I'm not flying Rebel. We saw how well that went. Oh, hey, wait. I did beat Psych J, so never mind. I might fly Rebel.
I hate you. All right, the next list is Poe, Red, and Jessica and Kazuvio. We already saw this list. Obviously, M9G8 is pretty good because it showed up twice the top cut. So,
Yep.
next
I wonder
one
if they're
is
like friends.
yeah, maybe they're. Nah, it's not like Hera and Chopper, you know.
All right, fair enough.
Next is a Delta 7B 3 Jedi Knight list with Plo Koon and CLT. Whatever, same thing. I'm just gonna keep moving past that. Oh, here's another stupid Rebel list. 10 Nub in the B Wing with Braylon in the B Wing, Dutch Vander, and Garvin. So
That's tough too.
yep.
But no Hera.
No Hera.
You said no Hera in the B-Wing?
Nope, no Hera. I if you could afford the points, I think, to put Hera over 10 Nub,
You can.
I probably would do that.
10 Num is very strong though.
Well, then get rid of Braylon and put 10 Nub
Braylon.
and Hera.
I'd put Braylon. Yeah, I'd put her in instead of Braylon personally.
Okay, that's
there's
fair.
points.
That's fair. The points work, so she's only like 48. So
Yeah, because 10 you're often using that stress. It's really
Where are we?
pretty
Have we even
easy,
broke
so.
top 16 yet?
oh yeah, we're
Yeah.
close. We're close to the end.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're getting close.
The next one is Max from the X-Wing Debrief. I like this list too. This is Lieutenant Kessel and the Aggressor. You don't see that almost ever. Fifth
Like
brother,
never.
seventh sister, and Colonel Jedin.
What's a TIE aggressor?
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
they-
I'm kidding.
LOL. That's a good one, dude.
I like this. This is cool. This is definitely a unique setup. You know, I think Emperor Palpatine is unneeded on Jendon. I would not run him on Jendon. I would run something else. But I don't know. I get why you do that, but that's a lot of points into that Jendon shuttle.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know. This This is a Empire beef list. There you go. So next one is Sven as Ray ZZ Poe. No real need to have a conversation about it. Even with increased in rows and Ben's points, it doesn't matter. You still can take it. Next we have Marcel, and here, Charles, why don't you read the list?
Marcel with Dash with Trick Shot, Kanan Jarrus giving, oh god, because that's what Dash needed is a damn force point. K2SO, Outrider, and then Cornhorn, your current favorite Rebel pilot, Chris. Cornhorn with Lone Wolf, Pattern Analyzer, Fire Control Systems, Proton Torps, and R2D2.
Wow.
So I have a quick question.
We're up to 5 now, by the way.
We are. I get the reason why you put R2D2 on Cornhorn, but what if you swapped R2D2 for that R3 astromech that lets you double lock, right? You could double proton torpedo ships. If you nuke one, you have a second proton torpedo.
Is it a primary attack, Chris, in this card, or is it attack?
Oh, you know what? Maybe Cornhorn's ability is primary. All right, that's fair. Okay, I'm probably wrong.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't remember.
I am probably wrong. I don't know. I've never flown Cornhorner.
I know you can perform a second attack, a bonus attack, but I don't know if it's the thing.
Yeah, you're right. It is a primary attack, so never mind.
Still a good attack though. Primary attacks on those E-wings is still 3 dice.
No, you're
Very
right.
Solid.
I see why you don't. So then at that point you just run R2. It's a free regen. So
regen, yeah.
Yep. You get the disarm token, you fly away, regen with it, get a second disarm token. Do you get rid of both disarm tokens in one? Oh yeah, you do.
Sure do.
Yeah. I like it. I don't like Dash. I think Dash should go away. Especially now he's got K2SO on there too, of all things. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a tough list. That sounds really tough.
Vomit. Let me vomit that one out. All right, the next one. So now we're in the top 4. The next one is Nicholas with Lieutenant Tavison. Tivitav, naked Tivitav with Breach, which I love. Breach, Fanatical, APTs, Electro Chafes, and Counternets, and then Kylo with Extreme Maneuvers, Sensor Scramblers, and Ion Torpedoes in the Silencer. Who would have thought Sensor Scramblers is great on a frickin' Silencer? The next one is Renato Flores with Galactic Republic. He's running 2 ETAs, Anakin Obi with Plo Koon and the Aether Sprite. It's funny, Plo Koon has CLT on it.
Yep, and those Adas are running your favorite modification upgrade, Chris.
Sense. Oh, stealth device. Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes, I do love that, actually. Man, gotta love that sense. You know what sucks, or self device? You know what sucks though?
What's that?
If people keep running self device, they're never gonna lower lower that cost. I'm never gonna get that lower cost.
They might increase the cost for you, Chris.
It's gonna be
so you know.
A high cost ship, and then I'm gonna have to frickin' see an uptick in cost. And you know I don't want that. You want to take the last list, Charles?
I hate you. It's Ahsoka, Jake, and Dash.
I know.
Ahsoka
What are the
running concussion
upgrades?
vectored, proton rockets and vectored on Jake, and then expert handling, so no trick shot. Jin Urso, so the ability to trade one for. So you basically get focus evade, and then a perceptive co-pilot. Stealth hey, he's running stealth device.
I know.
Chris.
God damn it.
So is that the 3?
Hey, who would have thought a 3 dice dash agility 3 agility dash would be good? I don't know.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
I hate dash.
You said there were
so
15
much right now.
occurrences.
No idea.
Of dash, so that means
so he was the winner.
1/3 of the
I will
people
say though, I don't think I'm in agreement that dash is just a top tier list that will always just decimate everything. No. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sold on that portion of it. I do not think he should be in Top Cut, and I think he should be banned. Just my personal opinion. Could be wrong. You guys can, somebody else can give a commentary, but I did watch the final, and I was sad because, losing Annie right away really just, it just really ended that game really quickly, and that's what those Adas do, but I don't know. You tell me. What's your opinion on Dash, Charles?
I like Dash as a character in the Star Wars universe. I know that's not the question you asked. I've
No.
never liked Dash. I don't like the YT 1300. I would like, to be fair, I would love to see the YT 2400.
He's talking about 2400.
Yep. YT 2400. I would like to see YT 2400 do what they did with some of the scum ships, where you lose your top tier. Like, for instance, when they banned Boba, but still you could still play the fire spray. I would like to see them just say, hey, Dash, no. But we have these other pilots for the 2400. Let's throw them in and see what we can do with them. But you never see anybody other than Dash.
No. And you know who I do see
never.
in fire sprays? I see Koshka Frost, right?
Yep.
I mean, we see it. We
Eamon
see
Azamine.
Eamon Azamine. I mean, so we've got two, at least, other ones. Same with, like, the
You see
second
all of
one.
them,
You don't
to be
always
honest with you.
just see Zam. You do see Django. And with Zam's cost increase, to be honest with you, I'm going to run Django over Zam anyway, right? It's really justice for Zari. No, Zari is not going to come back. No, we're not going to. No, Zari. You can still run Zari. I don't know. I guess Zari is what it is. But Charles, I agree with you. I think the big issue here is everybody only flies Dash, and so the point should just be increased, or he should just be banned. Like, I know. So who I can't remember. Charles, were you the one that was against the ban list?
Yes, I don't think the ban list is pertinent.
Okay, so if I can't ban Dash, what do you do to Dash to get him out of play field?
Increase points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
which I'll be fair and honest, is very hard to do because Dash is already not cheap.
no. And that's John's art. John basically just says, hey, Dash is cheap, or Dash is expensive. You run him, you take a risk. And I disagree, though. I mean, I think there's a couple of things I think that should be done, right? I think, and this is a whole discussion that a lot of people don't take. I think it doesn't work when you have a large base that can fucking shoot through rocks.
Right.
My opinion is, and this is where we get back to what's the punishment, right? The reason a lot of people hate Zam is there's zero punishment from doing a double shot. There's zero punishment from getting free target locks.
I was gonna say it's the same reason that people hate Death Ray.
Yeah,
because you can run it with no stress. There's no downside. I think the downside with Dash is, or at least what they tried to make the downside with Dash, is that range 1 bubble.
Right. Yeah, that's his Achilles heel.
And fine. Yep. You're right, Twitchy. Remove the pilot skill fixes some of that. You could also fix the fact. So I use Blackout as an example. Blackout comes in, is behind a rock, right? Before sensitive controls, Blackout was really hard to run. Like, insanely hard to run. You had to be very careful, because otherwise you're going over a effing rock, right?
Right.
So before sensitive controls, you had to be very careful with Blackout. So, but the difference is Blackout comes in, it says you lose 2 defensive dice, but you get 1. So you're just losing 1 dice. With Trick Shot and the way Dash is set up with Outrider and all these things, you get fucked if you're getting shot at, but when you go to shoot back at Dash, you're fucked as well. So there's zero downside to Dash. Zero. There is no consequences. And that's my biggest complaint about Dash. And we could talk about, like droids landing on rocks, right? But if I'm overhanging that rock a little bit, there's a downside. I don't get that extra green dice. If I'm overhanging that rock and you shoot at me, there's no extra green dice. It's not just because I'm sitting on a rock do I get it. If it touches me, I'm screwed. But the problem is that droids also pop. They just pop like crazy. Like, and you can ask Charles. I mean, we watched what's her name? Joy take off
I was
one
gonna
droid
say
around.
at that point in the game when Joy completed that 4K and started flying in at yours and started like one hitting. Nobby, I'm gonna step back.
No, yeah, but yeah, Joy came in and eliminated. Now, I don't think Joy's broken. I don't think Joy is a problem. Joy shooting 4 dice at range 1 is not the problem. Dash being able to shoot range 3, get the extra dice, and then on top of that, not have consequences for doing that. Plus, it's a big base. Plus, it's a maneuverable dial. That's my problem. There's no consequence. So fine, there you go. Make Dash cost what fucking Darth Vader and a Defender costs, and then we'll have a conversation. When you do that, then we can do that.
115 points.
They are not,
Fair
droids
enough.
are not mini Dash. I don't get extra dice for shooting through a rock. I don't. You get extra dice
They're not even close.
if I get extra green dice only if you're shooting through the rock. If you're not, it doesn't work. So if I put 2 droids on a rock, I'm screwed. It doesn't benefit me.
I agree with Twitchy. I think that may be another way to balance Dash as well.
What's that?
Dash loses an agility dice. A 1 agility large base ship is much easier to manage.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, fine. And
That
that's
is
fair.
true.
I agree with that. Like, if we want to take this in incremental steps, then fine. Get rid of the agility first.
Yeah, like he
but
just
how do
said,
you
I
do that?
can't figure out why the ARC 170 medium base dedicated heavy fighter has less agility than Dash.
All right, Matt, what do you want to say?
Exactly. No, I was just saying. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, how would you even change though the agility on the actual Outrider? You'd have to change the entire stat line of the Outrider.
Exactly.
Which
That's
is
why
fine.
Dash
It
is.
shouldn't have to. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb
Right.
here. And I'm
I
going to
get it.
say this, and I realize that as a scum player, I'm shooting myself in the foot. There should not be a large base ship that has 2 agility. There shouldn't.
Shadowcaster.
I understand.
Yeah.
I admit that as a scum player, we take advantage of it because you know what else has 2 agility dice? The Jump Master. I don't think they should. Now, the Slave 1, absolutely. It's a medium base ship. I don't think it should ever get 3, but 2 seems fair for a medium base ship. But if you're flying a large base ship that can carry tons and tons of upgrades, the Lancer shouldn't have 2. The Lancer should have 1.
No, I agree with you because Asajj is still a menace. I'm very surprised we didn't see Asajj play. Very surprised by that.
But that's my opinion. Like I said, for me, it's just me saying that there should not be a large base ship that that has 2 agility dice. I think that agility dice should be capped based on base. So 1 is the max for large base, 2 is the max for medium base, and 3 is the max for small base. Now, if you want to pay for an upgrade like stealth device so that you can get an extra agility, sure, 100% agree. But like the Decimator doesn't get 2. The YV666 doesn't get 2. The shuttle doesn't get. Wait, does the shuttle? No, both shuttles get 1 or 0. Like every other large base ship in the game, other than Scum large base, and I want to say the Falcon, gets 1 to 0 agility dice.
Yep, I agree. And I was excited when Dash lost. You know, it's the slot. You know, to be able to take Bistain. Can you imagine if this had been able to have Bistain? Here you go.
I played against it.
Let's talk about this. I don't know. I don't want to spend so much time on Dash because I just hate Dash and I think it's silly. But think about it. Dash is an I5 that has 2 agility, 10 health, 4 attack dice minimum. Right? While you perform a primary attack at 0 to 1, you don't apply the 0 to 1 bonus and roll 1 fewer attack dice. So you want to be very, very glowing. You ignore obstacles. You can go do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. He's 79 points. You want to know who's not 79 points? Darth Vader and a Defender. Want to know what? Fuck it. Let's go with your fine. Don't ban Dash. Make him 112 points. Let's move on with our lives. 112 point Dash.
But I think the problem that you run into with that is when you start increasing points like that, then you have to reanalyze things like the Falcon. You have to reanalyze other large base ships that currently have one or two, or more than one agility dice. So that means Ray's got to go up in points. That means that, you know what I mean? A lot of ships all of a sudden go up in points to maintain that balance.
I just say get rid of that. Okay, you know what you're making an argument for, Charles? Is a ban list. Just let me ban Dash. Move on. I don't disagree with you that maybe Ray could go up in points a little bit. I'm not 100% against that, especially because or maybe Corcella goes up in points because you only see Corcella ran with Ray. You just don't see Corcella ran with other ships. I don't run Corcella very often. I mean, you could run it with Covenel, technically speaking, but you don't need that. So anyway, whatever. I let's move on from Dash because it's just it's a sore point in my weekend. I'll just put it that way. I was not excited by this GSP. You want to know what made me excited is when I start seeing scum ships, right? But I get really not excited when I see Dash deciding it's going to make a freaking presence. And I don't know if it was 3. I thought it was more than 3 in Top Cut. So, but let's talk statistics for a few minutes, and then we're going to close the show out because we're not going to go through meta list. We will wait till next week. I really wanted to go through a lot of statistics tonight, but I will hold off on my love because I know Charles doesn't feel super well, and I don't want another hour and a half portion of the show because I could go for another hour and a half talking about statistics. So I'll
be honest with you. If I'm being honest with you as well as our viewers in the stream, I love math. I love statistics, and I would wax poetic with you about it for the entire hour and a half. It is what I love. It's what you do for a living. It's what I studied in college, statistical and numerical analysis. So I am looking forward to it. I just feel like I got hit by a train tonight. So.
Yep. No, that's fine. And I'm okay with that. Let's talk a little bit about the GSP statistics, right?
Yep.
And then what we can do is go from there because I think GSP statistics are what we want to start there because I think that's how you start, right? That's
right.
This is where we start and then we can expand on it from there next week. Because I think I was kidding myself when I said, "Hey, let's do a statistics show." And then my statistics show got derailed because of fucking Dash. How about that?
How dare he?
He got you again, Chris.
I hate
yet another reason to hate him.
I do. Yeah, screw you, Dash. You ruined my night.
So I will say I hate playing against him as well. I did want to also pile on Dash because I did want to also register my dislike for playing against him. So I do feel you. I don't love playing against Torkoal, but I will tell you I think that I dislike Dash Rendar quite a lot more than I dislike playing against Torkoal Mux. I don't know if it's what it is about him, but every time I play against him, I'm always like, oh.
So I'm going to reply to something that Navi put in the chat. I enjoy a good breakup. Maths, though. He said, I like a good statistics, but damn, why can't they hold up with Dice? Dice don't like statistics. They consistently give them a finger. So and I'm going to go high-level math on this for just a second. So the reason that Dice and statistics don't play along is because when we're looking at statistics, we are looking at constant values. Right? We're looking at the fact that there are 8 sides of the dice, that so many of those sides are this, so many of those sides are that, so many of those sides are this, right? When we start playing statistical analysis of a dice roll, physics comes into play. What side did the dice start on? What angle did you drop it out of your hand? What angle did it hit the mat? How many times did it bounce? What was the rotation angle? That sort of thing. It's not simply RNG based on the it's not just simply RNG based on the statistical analysis of a dice side. There are so many physics related issues that you have when rolling a die that it throws the statistical analysis of what an actual die roll can do so far off that I don't know anyone personally that can do the actual die statistics in their head.
Nah, I think you're right. I think you're right. We could talk dice statistics sometime. Actually, that would be interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna apologize and say we're gonna avoid dice statistics tonight. Just because I think there's other important things we could talk about.
Sure.
I do think we could come back. I think we could come back to that.
I'm in for that. That can be part of a different statistical discussion.
There you go. Maybe we do a series. Statistical analysis by Planning Face Syndicate. There you go.
Yeah. Never Tell Me the Odds, episode 1.
There you go.
Damn it, I already used that title once. What did we use that on?
Math Nerd episode.
Yeah, was it? I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. No,
right.
No, we didn't never tell. I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe not.
We did. We did. I know we did. It was like episode 6 or 8, something like that. All right, we got to keep moving. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning before we end. And I know Nabi has nothing to do, and he wants to talk about A-Wings and their statistical, hit value. But
I don't know. A lot of air wings in the top cut there too.
There is.
Nabi, I feel your pain because Fen Rao at range 3 behind a rock almost always dies. Just saying.
Especially when Charles flies them.
Yeah. Huh?
Yep. Charles's Fen Rao almost never is productive. Like, Charles should actually never run Fen Rao. Statistically speaking, Charles should never, ever run Fen Rao.
You're
Too
not
bad he loves
wrong.
him so much, too, because he
do.
does actually play him a lot.
All right. So here's what I did. I took Jason Ritter's numbers that he put together, and I put them in a table. Now, I don't want this to take away from what GSP does, so I apologize if anybody feels this way. I really genuinely am not trying to take away from what GSP does, and I actually have reached out to Jason myself and to try to get him to have a conversation with me about where he gets his numbers and see if maybe we could do like a collaboration. So we will see what happens from that. I did take essentially all of the Galaxy's numbers, and what I did is I created a database and I put all of the information in on a high level. I did not take the low level data of who it was, what they flew, or any of that. I just took factions, the total wins that they had for Top Cut, the total amount that they had per galaxy, and then what I did is I said, okay, hey, let's look at the total Top Cut percentage of each list, right? And I did a bunch of stuff, and I also looked at the difference between whether it was semester 1 or semester 2. So points update 1 or points update 2. So we have all of these numbers I have. And I think this is the first time Charles and Matt are actually seeing these. They did not get to see these beforehand. I kept this private until we went live tonight. So this analysis is literally only for the Galaxies tournament, and it is literally only for GSP's stuff. There is nothing else in there. I am going to expand it, I think, but for now, that's all that's in here. So, out of all the Galaxies tournaments, which I believe we have had, 8 or 9, we had 169 Empire, 142 FOs, 208 Rebel, fuck Dash, 122 Republic, 121 Resistance, 203 Scum, and 148 Separatists. Now, this is hyperspace versus non-hyperspace, right? Or this has all of them together. We will analyze the difference in a minute between the two. And then you can kind of see the top cut rates, right? So 25, 17, 33, 20, 21, 33, 29. Now, the first statistical number we look at is the top cut percent of the list. So you take 125 divided by 169. So out of all of the lists in Empire, about 15% made cut. First Order, 12%. Rebel, almost 16%. Republic, 16%. Resistance, 17%. Scum, 16%. And unfortunately, Separatists came in at almost 20%. Now,
Wow.
and I'm missing, there's a number missing in here. All right, well, that sucks.
That would be the ZAM. That would be the ZAM kind of probably thing, though.
No, it's not the
ZAM
ZAM thing. No. ZAM does.
No?
ZAM
Okay,
does affect
sorry.
it, yes. Yes, Matt, yes, you're right. ZAM does affect it. All right, so if we go through and just look at, if you take everything and we just look at top cut factions versus top cut, so this percentage is the percent of list ran versus top cut, right? The next percentage is when you look at how many made cut versus the faction percentage total, right? So Scum comes in at 18%, and they're making top cut at 18.5%. Right?
That's not bad at all.
That's actually really good. See, and this is where the difference is. Separatist comes in at 13% essentially, and is making top cut at 16%. So Scum comes in high and translates high. This equates to each other. So what? Again, we can analyze each of the different things, but what this tells you, right, is that Scum, to some extent, has been fairly balanced. It is higher than the other factions, so it is still technically undercosted. And Charles can, fuck you, but he's probably going to bitch at me about that. But to some extent, Scum is undercosted for the talent abilities, but at least they're not off the charts. Separatist comes in less than the normal for the percent of faction for total lists, but they come in higher for cut. So what that tells you is that more Separatist lists win or get to top cut than Scum lists do by 2.7%. So what that tells you is Scum may be unbalanced in the aspect of how many lists make it to each side of it and how many lists are played, but it is technically more balanced than Separatist when it comes to how much make top cut. So technically speaking, what we would be looking at is if more people ran Scum, would this 2.7% still hold up? Twitchy, I do not currently have the pilots yet. That is the long-term project that I'm working on, that I want to work on, is having a conversation with Jason to see this. They do have pilots for the metawing, which we will go over next week. So next week's episode is metawing episodes, right? And you're right, absolutely. Pilots will tell you problem childs, 100%. And I guarantee you, you know who's not going to be the problem child? Boba Fett. Because they nerfed Boba Fett. So Boba Fett's not your problem child
hit him
anymore.
with the nerf hammer, so
yeah,
they hit him with the nerf hammer hard.
Yes. The other issue that we have here is, right, this is only GSP numbers, right? And the reason I focused on this first is because, in my opinion, GSP has done a very good job at running major tournaments online while we've been through COVID.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest with you, in my opinion, GSP should be 100% selected to run all major tournaments in the future. Just my personal opinion.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, why not?
100%.
Yep.
I don't know if Dion could commit that much time, because the benefit of playing online is there's no such thing as a regional tournament. Like, he doesn't have to fly to California to do theirs. He doesn't have to fly to Europe to do theirs. You know what I mean? They're able to do everything online. However, I will say that even hearkening back to the original Galaxies, right at the beginning of COVID, when the first Galaxies happened and the whole We Are Data t-shirt popped up,
yeah,
they have done a solid job of making sure, like, the pre-player meeting is almost identical every single one.
Yeah. You know what I do? That's a nap time for Chris.
Yep. More often than not, yes. I sat through the very first one, and I sit through the first one of every tournament series. But once I realize that it's pretty much the same stuff I've already heard, I pretty much do the same. Sorry,
Yep.
Dion, if you ever watch this, I very rarely sit through the entire player meeting.
Hey, he will. It's fine. You don't have to give your Discord name, Charles. So your Discord name is different than your in real life name, so we don't have to worry about that, right?
No, because on the GSP server,
so
they
you
make
put
you
your
use your
name.
real name.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, Twitchy, I 100% agree with you. Somebody needs to keep these TTS things online. And like, okay, look, I did not, in fairness, I didn't play in Scarif. I already had my invite to Alderaan, so I didn't play in Scarif. I just didn't. It to be fair. But I am playing in Krayt Cup. So I think that all these online things, like, even though I'm going to an in-person every week, and then once a month I get 2 in-persons, I'm still playing in the online stuff as well. So I don't feel that they should change any of that. I don't. I agree with you. If GSP stops that and does more in-person stuff, then yeah, let Hexile take it up. And look, I've talked with the guy from Hexile before. We could partner with them in a heartbeat to do stuff. And that guy, Scott's great. Like, he really is. I love that guy a lot. So, but let's go back to the statistics a minute, because again, I got 15 minutes left to shove statistics from GSP down your throat before we have to sign off for the night.
We're gonna real quick do this one. 1/3 of the Dash Rendar list made cut.
There you go. That's bad, right? That's bad.
That's bad. That's real bad.
I think that's bad.
Zango.
All right.
Zamgo. Sorry.
Yeah, that's worse than Zamgo.
You know what's not worse than?
Dengar?
Nantex swarms.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. You're right. I've told you before, I don't agree with the Nantex stuff. Like, I'm in the same boat you are, man.
Fucking Nantex.
Very fair. It isn't. Yeah.
All right. So let's, again, going back to Empire is 15%, but their top cut rate is 14%, so it's low. That tells me that the major lists for Empire are probably overcosted. First Order, same thing. I think First Order will change in the future, so I'm cautious of this. But that's pretty low. 3% is huge decrease. Rebel is the same as Scum, so we don't need to cover that. Republic comes in at less than 1% of it higher, and same with Resistance. They're both very similar. And it's funny because people shit all over Resistance, but if you look at Resistance and what it does, in the long run, Resistance is very similar to Republic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I have 2 more. I don't know, I have 3 more. I have 3 more things, but we'll do these 2 first. What I did is break it up between extended and hyperspace. And then I broke it up between the beginning of 2021 and the end of 2021, right? And there's more to come, except for, unfortunately, Dion is basically saying that they're not going to have any more large tournaments other than Alderaan till the end of the year. So these numbers are only going to change so much. But if you look at the difference here, right? Empire in extended comes in at 16% of the total faction, and top cut is 14%. If we scroll up, that's very similar. Very similar. If I break out hyperspace, though, they only, out of the hyperspace list, which we've only had like 2 or 3 tournaments, only 9.5% come in that people play them, but they're making higher cut. So what that tells you is that hyperspace Empire is pretty bloody good in that aspect, right? They are probably a little undercosted for their hyperspace stuff. First Order comes in extended, very bleak. Only 10.5% people run First Order, and only 8% of those people make cut. In hyperspace, 21% are running it, and again, that's 100% because of the new ships. Period. And then 15, almost 16% of them are making cut, which tells you the newer ships are priced more aggressively than the older stuff is.
At least enough people want to bring them.
Yep. So here you go. Now we have Rebel. Rebel represents 19% of the total lists ran, and 18% are making cut and extended. Here's the difference. 17% are running in hyperspace, and 22% are making cut. Rebel is undercosted. So here's the deal. Well, you know what? Alderaan is not going to be hyperspace, so I guess it doesn't matter. If it was hyperspace, you run Rebel. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, but if it's not, you run Scum, right? Or sorry, Separatists.
No, we'll get sure. We'll get to that in a minute. Actually, I disagree. Separatist is lower. It's Empire. Empire is the one. Empire and Rebel are the two that stand out in hyperspace.
Gotcha. In hyperspace, yeah, but
in
not
hyperspace.
but in non-hyperspace. So you were
in non-hyperspace. Scum stands out. Period. In non-hyperspace, Scum stands out like crazy. Now, again, this does not take into account the new pricing, right? The new points. That's the difference.
Yeah.
We're going to look at that in a second. So then you have Republic comes in at 11 and 11, and then 10 and 9, same as pretty similar. Resistance is 10 and 11, 11 and 12, very similar. Scum is 19 and 19, almost identical, but in hyperspace, Scum comes in at 15 versus 12 and a half. That's interesting, right?
And that's that
because no Zam.
No Zam, no swarms.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You get rid of Sikhs and you get rid of Zam. You kill the win rate of that faction, which again then tells you people like to run Scum even when they don't win. That's what that tells you, right?
It's a fun experience. I like Scum because it's a positive game experience for the player.
Yeah, so Scum is just
but not for me.
Well,
No, apparently not. But
apparently not if you're Chris. Anything scummy and he's not on board. Crazy.
Yep. And in extended, Separatists ran 12 versus 16. Huge. That's huge too. That's big. In terms of just extended, that's insane. Right? That's crazy numbers. That should not be either. In hyperspace, though, they don't do very well. They're very faux pas, right? They're very minimal. Now, all right, I guess I don't have to move down to see the bottom part. So the next part is if we separate the points update, right? So let's pick on Scum first. In the first portion of Scum, when we talk about the first points update, right, that we had, Scum comes in at 20.5 versus 22.3. But once they adjusted points, Scum drops to 11.5%, and top cut rate is 8%. That's fucking insane of a drop, right? That's crazy.
Well, people haven't found the new meta yet.
Yeah.
But Zam is not allowed anymore, so they had to find a new meta.
Yep. People dumped Scum for Rebel. That's what they did.
Right.
Because of fucking Dash.
Picked up Rendar, yeah. Well, it's
Fuck
the easiest thing. Like it's the what is it? Like the path of least resistance, right? So they want the biggest bang for their buck every single time. Mind you, it's tournament play, so always that's how you're going to go for it. But basically, you're going to constantly be looking for that. What can I get best out of the situation, right?
Yep.
I'm aware this is going to put me into dad joke jail, but isn't technically Rebel the path to the resistance rather than the path of least resistance?
That's a pretty good one, though. But yes.
So Twitchy, to answer your question, what we'd actually have to do is combine these two graphs, and that's what we would have to look at. So maybe I'll do that for next week. That's a really good point. Maybe I should do that for next week because I got to fly in Alderaan, and I should probably base this on statistics. But I would have to actually combine the cross between these two to actually see the big difference.
We need a Venn diagram of.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
Oh, you guys are both crazy.
Yeah. So the other thing that's interesting too here is the Separatists, right? Separatists is a bigger jump, Charles, than Scum is. Like, so that tells you. So 90% of that is Zam, right? Like, if we actually could strip out the pylons, we could probably figure out what the issue is. But Zam's that issue. But people lost interest in Separatists, and now they're down the same way Scum is.
Right.
Period. Overall, they're still up, but they're down. Resistance goes up in the second half. Republic goes up. Rebel should be shot. and First Order goes down, and then Empire is pretty much a neutral. Yes, ban dash right now. I'm in agreement with you.
Question though, in reference to dash, is Seismics a dash counter?
I mean, it's
you can't get your extra dice if there's no rocks to shoot through.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, it's at least a soft counter.
That's 100% fair, Charles. Oh yeah, with Trajectory Simulator. Oh, hell yeah.
Tragedy Simulator, yeah. Not to mention like those B-wings you've been flying.
Yep.
All right. So I lied. I already did the graph. Sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, so I did do the graph, Twitchy. Because I'm that much of a nerd. I'm sorry. I just so everybody knows, I literally have spent 4 hours on this because that's how much I like this. And we don't even have graphs. Like that's the next step.
We don't have graphs yet. Incomplete sentence. We don't have graphs yet is what Chris meant to say.
There you go.
Yeah. So now we can look at Empire with the factions and top cuts in extended versus points and hyperspace versus point, which is literally, just so you know, this is literally was my goal of this whole exercise. Just so everybody knows this was my goal. So
Nobby, not only do we love data, we are data.
Yep. So if we come over here, so if we're going to talk Alderaan for just a second, and I hate to dwarf everything else, but if we're going to talk Alderaan for just a second, if you come over to Hyperspace Second Edition, which is this right here, Empire is low, Rebel or First Order is low, Rebel is insanely high. And again, this is a little biased because there's only so many lists that have been ran since the points update, right? But Rebel is off the charts. So when we have a conversation about what we should be running, it sure as fuck isn't Scum. It sure as fuck isn't Separatist. It's possibly Resistance. It's definitely not Republic. It's Rebel. First Order is okay. And First Order and Rebel are the two major winners, and Resistance. Do you want to run something? Those are what you should be running. Definitely Rebel. Rebel is off the charts. They should ban Dash before that. And maybe we should... How about this? Let's start a petition to fucking tell Dion to ban Dash. Just ban him. Let Dion ban Dash so we don't have to have a Dash meta.
If he didn't ban the freaking Hantex, he's not banning Dash.
Matt, you're evicted from the podcast right now. Bye-bye. See you,
Just
Matt.
saying. You know I'm right. I mean, we suffered through Nantex for like an entire series of them. So yeah, no, I agree. I dislike Dash, but don't think he's gonna do it.
So the statistics do demonstrate, in fairness, in hyperspace, that's what you'd be running. Now, if we're gonna talk, I can't remember if Alderaan is hyperspace or extended. If we're gonna talk extended though, then it's a little bit different of a discussion. Rebel still comes in very high, but Republic is also off the charts. Resistance is off the charts. So now we're really down to Rebel and Republic and Resistance. Those are your three factions to run. Empire
is extended.
Is it?
Alderaan is extended.
So why did you guys let me go on that whole rant about hyperspace? God damn it.
Because we like to see you excited.
You rant all the time,
top 32 from each qualifier will be invited to the Battle for Alderaan Extended Galactic Championship Finale, which will be November 6th.
That would make sense.
Yep. So Rebel still is the biggest winner. Flat out. Rebel is 28%. Republican Resistance, weirdly enough, like I'm surprised Resistance is that high. Honestly. I'm surprised by that. And maybe it's just the good players.
It didn't seem. I mean, how many Resistance lists were played overall, though, Chris?
All right, let's go up to the top, Matt. All the way.
So if you want to win,
sorry, I forgot the number.
If you want to win, fly one of the three R's: Rebel, Republic, or Resistance.
Yeah, 121.
Wasn't that one a little lower? That's a little lower, though, wasn't it? Lower for the overalls.
Yes. Yep. Overall, it's like compared to Scum, compared to all the other ones, it's the lowest ran one, which means it does the best consistently. Because now, And again, this is where statistics just fucks you in the asshole, right? Now it's time to go in and actually say, how do we screw this up even more? And I apologize for that reference. I don't mean that. What I mean is that now we have to actually go in and say how many lists are consistent and ran, or is it like a anything in resistance wins type thing? Because I don't think Death Ray is in here very much. You know what's in here though?
I doubt Death Ray is in there very much.
Poe's in a lot.
Good.
You know who else? Rose. You know what else? Blue Squadrons.
Hera.
Fen. Hera's not in
Pava
resistance.
Too. Jess Pava. And
you don't get Hera in resistance.
Too.
She's dead.
But there was Hera though. She might have been Hera was probably in. So you got two rebel things that have been there. It was Hera, and now you're on to Dash. So you have two very strong things. They probably messed up with points on Dash.
Yeah, and I mean, no, I don't want to ban Poe at all. I don't think Poe's the problem. I'm just telling you, the conversation is resistance comes in on the lowest end of the scale, other than, I mean, Republic is a close second, right? They come in almost identical. So really the question is what do you want to run for Alderaan? Okay, well, if I'm running Alderaan, resistance is the lowest amount but has the highest cut ratio when it comes all the way to the bottom here of this for extended. Resistance is king. Republic is king. It's just crazy. And again, we have a smaller sample size, so that's part of the problem. So no, don't ban Poe. Don't do anything to Poe. There's no reason to change Poe.
Dash.
Just ban Dash. It's what we need to do is look at Rebel and say Rebel has become the new Scum with the points update. They nerfed Scum too hard, in my opinion. And again, that's the part of the problem is if Zam is that linchpin for this, that's part of the problem, right? Does Zam have the issue of it carried too many lists that it made lists that good that shouldn't have been, and when we basically made Zam unfieldable to some extent as a crew character, it ruins it. And so here's the thing is maybe we should take all the GSP tournaments before Zam even existed and look at those numbers. That's so the analyst in me would do that. Like if I were doing this for a client, that's what I would be doing. I would go back and look at the other ones and say, where did Scum come in last year before Zam even existed? Because if Zam comes in the GSP stuff, that high, but Scum comes back and is really not that big, then what else did they screw up in the factions that it screws these up? And this is so we're gonna close the show out now. The idea here is nobody's gonna release a broken card for resistance. You got Ray, you got Death Ray, you don't need anything else. So the caveat here is AMG, do you want to make this game even more popular? Where is the drive to look at this type of numbers and efficiency? And look, if you guys are playtesters, anybody watching this, if you're playtesters, message me. Message AMG. I will happily work with AMG for free at this current time to go through all of this stuff, because I think there's so much data here that is not being analyzed inappropriately. And again, I could be wrong. And I'm not doing this at a paintbrush though. This is a little bit more than a paintbrush stroke. Twitchy, this is I'm going to be a little bit pushy here and say this is more than a paintbrush stroke. Look at it. There is data that goes into this. Could you look at this deeper? Absolutely. But if you ain't going to pay me, I'm only going to go so deep. So this is a free podcast around here, folks.
So many ways to go with that.
Yeah, you're okay. So fine. All right, fair enough. AMG's focuses are.
I'm only going so deep, lady.
Oh my God, stop. All right. That's not even a dad joke. That's just like a perv joke. Is that what that is?
That was just a perv
All right.
joke, yeah.
Okay. Moving past that. So you're right. I think AMG, this is a huge benefit. These are things that people can bring to you. And why not set this up and look at it? And I get, don't acknowledge the online stuff. Don't openly admit this. I don't give a shit. Why don't you message people like me or Jason Ritter privately? That's what you got. That's what AMG should be doing. Let's have these private conversations. Set up a playtester team that's not playtesting, but looking at the numbers. That's what you should do. Because if you do this AMG, you could balance things even better than what you did. I think their most point release is probably one of the best ones we've ever gotten, personally, other than Dash. But these numbers is what should drive you to make decisions in what you do. And if you're not using statistics and numbers to make your decisions, then all you're doing is looking at this as a board game. And we all know this is not a board game. We all understand. So Twitchy, all right. Anyway, we're gonna move back. We can't talk on stream about things that are in the past, I guess. So, but the difference is that AMG, if they had talked to people like Dion, they would have somebody at their disposal. Because what would happen is Dion could put out a thing that says, hey, does anybody do these things for a living? Would you like to join the GSP crew and help AMG figure out their flawed issues? I would join. It would be, hey, Dion, select me. I do this for a living. This is what I literally do for clients. You know, to a more in-depth level than this does. My literal job is this. That's what I spend all my time doing right now. Anyway, so I'm not going to harp on that anymore. I think these numbers are great. What we're going to do next week is we are going to go into, and I'll bring it back up real quick. What we're going to do is have a conversation about the metawing, which Psych J actually brought to our attention. I did not know this existed. Metawing is a portion of List Fortress, which takes essentially what I was doing to some extent and kind of breaks it down a little bit, right? So they talk about archetypes, they talk about ship types, what goes into it, squadrons, ratios. Again, I don't agree with all these numbers personally, but these are the raw data. And if I could get my hands on even more raw data, which I think you can do by downloading the CSV file, right? And downloading the JSON file, like there's a lot of things that can be done with this data. I'm going to work through that for the next week. This is what we will be talking about next week for a little while. I don't know what that is. So we'll be talking about this next week for a little bit while. Anybody else have anything else before we move on and just ban Dash? New hashtag ban Dash.
Yeah, man, that's Chris's new logo there.
Does that mean, Charles, I have to set up like a Discord thing for it or something?
You sure do.
Hashtag Bandash.
Yeah, I mean, I have my Torkel Mux one.
I just say we do an exclamation dash for every time, and you go off, and the chat's tired of hearing it.
Put me in Dash jail.
Dash jail. Yep. There you go.
All right.
You must say one nice thing about Dash every time somebody does it.
All right. So, hey, Nabi, you could go into our Discord and you can I would like a paragraph of why you want justice for Zari. I'm not going to talk about the show tonight. Send us a message, put it in our Discord. Anybody that wants to read it, go to our Discord. Whatever. So we'll talk. I'll give 5 minutes to why you want to free Zari versus Howl Runner. And make sure you send that to us well before Sunday so that Charles and I can go through and analyze why you think we should change Zari. So give us a reason. We'll talk about it next week. With that being said, thank you all for joining us. We'll have our Thursday night game stream. We will also have our Krayt Cup streams if we can get the guys to agree with us. And we'll be back at minimum on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night and see you later this week.